Basically, each tag has a special way to communicate to the browser how to it will work. And if we hack that functionality, maybe it works for some people, but the screen reader doesn't know what's happening there.
Welcome,
Awesome.
Leonidas, to the Watermelon podcast. Leonidas is an expert in web technologies. He's been teaching it for a few years now. I met him, didn't get to work to him due to the pandemic, but we were close before. Leonidas, why don't you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Thanks, Esteban. Your name is as my last name. My
Yeah.
name is Leonidas Esteban. Esteban is my last name. So I'm a Google developer expert. I'm currently working as engineer manager on a startup called Parrot Software. That I work on POS for restaurants.
Okay.
And
So a POS is a point of sale, right? Like where you pay the thingy
yeah,
on.
exactly.
Okay, cool.
And also, I have a school for programmers called as me, leonidassteban.com. So if you want to learn front-end technologies, just reach me.
Okay, perfect. I'll link you on the description. Okay, so let's talk about accessibility. There are a lot of things that I know on accessibility. There are a ton of things that I don't know about accessibility. The easiest one is using the correct HTML text, right? Like when you're writing, I don't know, React, Angular, or Vue, you usually reach out to the old div. But why isn't it that the correct way to go about it?
The HTML tags, it's just an part of the accessibility, to be honest. But let's talk about it. Okay. Normally, the people who is looking to get a good design use the HTML tags and CSS, and they are focusing just on the styles and the pixel perfect, and that is good. But normally, people with maybe with problems to see your website doesn't have the correctly way to navigate to them. So maybe your links are not links, maybe are just so dips, or maybe just only list. Or maybe your navigation it's not in a tag enough, or maybe your formularies are also divs. So it's a problem for people with disabilities.
Okay, yeah.
Um, like because they use screen readers to navigate to website, and maybe their screen that screen reader doesn't read your website correctly, and maybe doesn't found the, the content, and um, your the scheme of your website is important for this case, and maybe to navigate directly to the main content. So how to I can read your main content of the blog that I enter, and maybe if your tags are not with the correct tags, maybe the content that I read, if I use an screen reader, is maybe the links, maybe the titles, maybe your sponsors, and that's not correct. And also, I maybe I can jump to the key points, to titles. So maybe your H1 are maybe you doesn't have an H1, an H2, an H3, and there are all, uh, all dips. So maybe someone with a screen reader has no options to read your content as you think, and
Okay,
that's a problem to some people.
let me see if I get this correct. If I can see and I'm navigating like blind, my screen reader will help me navigate the page if it's correctly built. If I have a navigation element, a nav tag, that will know that it's a menu for me to jump from side to side, right? And it will read to me the links when it's an A tag with an href instead of a span that sends me over with a JavaScript event. Am I getting it right?
Yeah. Basically, each tag has a special way to communicate to the browser how to it will work. And if we hack that functionality, maybe it works for some people, but the screen reader doesn't know what's happening there.
Okay, yeah, I get you. I mean, I've worn glasses all my life. I really dislike small text. I cannot design, for example, the conditions, terms and conditions in pages. I cannot read them. They're too small, and I have to zoom in. And I'm only 27. Like I'm young. I bet that happens worse for my mom or my grandma. And also about colors. Could you explain a little bit how colors work in a web page and readability on it?
Sure. The main concern with the colors are about the contrast. Maybe your brand has good colors for I don't know, maybe a yellow color with a white background, and maybe for some people that's great because your brand is yellow, but maybe that produce not enough contrast, and for some people will be difficult to read. There is a lot of levels on this. Maybe the contrast in a background button with a color of the text are black. Maybe it's not a big deal, but maybe if for some reasons your texts are yellow and your background is white, there's a very serious problem to read, and also for people with no disabilities. It's more intuitive to 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 feel that. Um,
Okay.
but the button with the background color on yellow, and if your body background is white, it's also a contrast issue. And
Okay.
to jump to another point on the colors, maybe your visitors has another problems to his to
Side.
hi-
Their side.
yeah.
They have heterochromia. They cannot see reds or greens, right?
Yeah, exactly. So maybe some of your texts are or red or blue, and they switch that colors. So you need to consider it.
This is probably something that people do care about. Like, I want my visitors to be able to read my website. How would I go around testing it? How would I know that my website is actually readable and that my navigation buttons are accessible and that kind of thing?
Oh, that's a pretty good question, because that's an actionable for this interview. So if you use your developer tools on your browser, just please just open your developer tools, and you have a tool on the right panel that called accessibility. So uh, in that tool, you can see how a screen reader reads your website. Maybe if you are focusing on accessibility, on with that, on if you are aware on accessibility, maybe it's not the perfect experience. So you can debug that.
Would you take the test to show us for like a couple minutes how to use it? I've never done it. I really care about this, but I've never honestly used it.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, in one of my courses, it's not
Oh, sorry.
commercial,
The free
but
one. One of the free ones?
we built a project focusing on accessibility, and in each class we test the functionalities, but maybe in a website like a blog, it's more easy. That let's think in a tool like Spotify. Oh, your
Hmm.
player.
Yeah.
Your player is a lot of buttons with no text. So how the screen reader know if maybe some button is the play button, the next button, the pause button? So you need to add that information for your tags, and also um, add the correct navigation. Maybe the when I navigate with the tab button, the first action will be the play button, not the previous sound.
Song button. Okay. Cool. Cool. You brought something up. Like we usually navigate with the mouse, like people that can see, but people that cannot use the keyboard mostly, right? Like they go tabbing everywhere. How does that work? Like how do you tell the keyboard to go about it?
Yeah, yeah. Basically, there is an attribute called uh, it's like the index that for the order of the actions.
Okay. What is it called? Is that area? I've never used area. I've seen it, but never used it.
Yeah, area. It's not an area
Attribute.
attribute. It's let me think about I forgot for a minute.
And how do users like actually get to that component?
Yeah, there is an attribute called tab index, and
Mm,
you can set to zero to the name that if you want to make an special order.
okay, perfect. So if I give it a low number, it's going to be first in the list. It's going to be the fastest to reach, right?
Yeah,
Perfect.
exactly.
Cool. And what about phone users? Because I mean, a big screen is way easier to fill with stuff, but a small screen in the phone is harder. How would I go about with a small screen helping users access my website in a phone, for example?
Oh,
Then have a
sure.
keyboard.
Maybe you can use some CSS for that. Maybe your phone it's responsive to to the screen size. Maybe a relative one using RAMs, AMs, or using maybe clamp. Special way to maybe my font size is not just 16 pixels. Maybe my font size is in between 16 or 20 pixels. Or in some cases, you can add a tool in your website set to set a specific font size. You fix that like that.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, that this totally helps me make my websites more accessible. Thanks a lot, Leonidas. It's been great talking to you. It's been great having you. If you have anything you want to tell our viewers, now's the moment.
Thanks to this invite, Esteban. And maybe if you want to learn more about accessibility, it is an invite to my course called Flexbox Layout and Components that you found it on leonidascom.com/flexbox.
Okay, perfect. I'll link it.